and welcome back to RMU Live for Monday, April 9th, 2018. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm Ryan Jacoby. Here's what's happening now.
On Saturday, part of Route 30 in Braddock collapsed, destroying part of an apartment complex. I visited the scene this weekend to bring you more on the story. Construction crews in Allegheny County are working around the clock to clean up the aftermath of this landslide behind me on Electric Avenue here in Allegheny County. Route 30 in North Braddock is now closed after a large portion of the road collapsed to the hillside this Saturday following a hard week of rain. The road collapsed on the Electric Avenue apartment complex below, and Ray Callahan was there when it happened.
It was just like a big boom, you know, and I heard it. I didn't know what it was, so I just didn't bother me for a while, you know. They came and knocked again and said, "Sir, we got to get out." I said, "What for? It's just mud. I'm on the second floor. I ain't going nowhere. It ain't gonna bother me, you know." And then he said, "Well, the building next door is cracked in half, sir." And I went out my patio and looked out the window and seen the building and smelled all the gas. And I said, "Well, I guess I better get out of here."
Ray and other residents from the complex are now staying in the Doubletree Hotel in Monroeville, but aren't sure how long they'll be taken care of.
And this is senior place with poor people. They don't have renter's insurance or nothing.
2 buildings have been completely torn down, and crews are working to salvage what is left of the others. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, alongside local officials, don't have a timeline of when the cleanup and the rebuild is going to start and finish, or how long it's going to take. But crews said this road will be closed for several months. Reporting on Electric Avenue in North Braddock, Pennsylvania, Gage Golding, RMU-TV. The entire apartment complex has been evacuated, and they have not given a timeline for when residents will be allowed back, if at all. We will bring you updates on this story as we get them. In addition to Route 30 in Braddock, there are several roads in Allegheny County that are closed due to landslides. Bunola River Road in Forward Township is closed, Rice Run Road in Ross Township is closed, and Broadhead Road in Moon Township is also closed due to landslides from the heavy rain last week.
Following the March for Our Lives, students organized a town hall that talks to political candidates. Sam Anthony has more on the story.
I'm here in Millvale, Pennsylvania, where a group of local high school students put together a town hall. Attending this event was Senator for the 18th District, Pennsylvania, Connor Lamb, and candidate for the 17th District, Pennsylvania, Ray Linsenmeyer, where the topic of conversation was gun control.
People own them, they feel very passionately about them. You layer on top of that we have a political system that is dominated by special interests and it is extremely divided. It's been almost impossible to get anything done in Congress on this issue. So I don't deny that there are other countries where things are done differently, and that may even result in additional safety in those countries. What I'm trying to do as a matter of practical reality is advocate solutions that will fit within our current political system.
Anytime this gets anything close to traction in the Senate or the House, it's the NRA that steps up. It's the NRA that steps up and forces people to back down. And the medical exam that every single person going into Congress should get is, do you have a spine?
The event was organized by local high schooler Erin Sombard and a group of her friends who decided, despite being unable to vote, they wanted to make a change of their own.
We need some gun reform, and we also believe really strongly that everyone should get out and vote, especially our generation that's just coming of age now. So we're trying to really push that issue to the forefront, and if we can even make this election like a single issue election so that people are really voting to make this like long-lasting change.
Though the event was just 40 minutes long, Erin Sombard promised that this was just the beginning, with more events planned. And in addition to that, Connor Lamb let everyone know that his first town hall would be on April 28th at Robert Morris University from 1 to 4 p.m., something you won't want to miss. Reporting for RMU-TV, this is Sam Anthony.
Thanks, Sam. The Democratic primary for the 17th District is only a month away.
The Roman Catholic Diocese of Erie announced a list of 34 priests and other members of clergy who faced credible sexual abuse allegations. The diocese released the list Friday, which also included another 17 men and women facing similar claims, which had a former Catholic high school teacher who is now a college president. The allegations reach back as far as 70 years.
The Allegheny County Health Department posted a consumer alert at the Pittsburgh Popcorn Company in the Strip District. because of an extensive mouse infestation. Mouse droppings in the thousands were found in the basement storage area and on various food contact surfaces.
A small town in Canada's Saskatchewan province is mourning the loss of 15 people, many of them teenagers, who died when a bus carrying a junior hockey team collided with a tractor trailer. At least 14 others were hurt. John Valentini Rayo has more on the long road to recovery and how many people in the community are helping.
Among the survivors in Saskatoon, recovering or clinging to life in hospital, this trio of the injured and a moment shared around the world of teammates finding strength in each other. Defenseman Ryan Strechnitsky broke his back, and now, like so many parents, his anxious mother's struggling to process what happened.
Honestly, I don't know. I wish we had a time machine and could go back 24 hours.
At this hospital Friday night, they declared a rare code orange used during a mass casualty event. On shift was Dr. Hassan Mazri, who once worked in Syria treating victims of the civil war. In a Facebook post, he wrote, "Last night can only be described as the longest, worst, most tragic night of my career. Meeting each family and explaining the extent of each injury was nothing short of a painful exercise of cruelty."
April 6, 2018 is going to be a dark day in Saskatchewan for a long time.
At a blood clinic, evidence of how the locals have mobilized to do what they can to help. So many turned out to give blood, there was a 3-hour wait, many donating for the first time. Some said they just felt a connection to the Broncos and its players.
I grew up playing hockey in Saskatchewan, so just do what you can to help out the hockey community, and it's terrible what happened, so just trying to help out any way I can.
A GoFundMe page was also set up to help family members of the team, and by this evening surpassed $2 million and continues to surge ever higher.
I'm asking everyone to do what they can to support families that are suffering and a community that has been devastated by this loss, but a community that we know will persevere. At this dark moment, let the strong arms of Saskatchewan provide a loving embrace.
Among the hockey players that were killed was the son of a former Pittsburgh Penguins player. Jackson Joseph is the son of defenseman Chris Joseph. Jackson was traded to the Humboldt Broncos earlier this season.
A controversial billboard in East Liberty will be allowed to go back up after a public outcry. The billboard said, quote, "There are black people in the future," unquote. The landlord of the building demanded it be taken down after receiving complaints, but she has now relented.
Following the death of a University of Pittsburgh student, officials in Oakland have a plan to make Central Oakland a virtual gated community. The Allegheny County District Attorney announced Tuesday that they will install surveillance cameras as virtual gates for Central Oakland. The plan is in partnership with the University of Pittsburgh Police Department and UPMC. The response is following the murder of student Elena Shicott, who was killed last year.
Travis Nace is a local teen who is organizing a fundraiser for a former Pittsburgh Pirate. RMU's own Gage Golding spoke with the teen.
An idea where we want to thank Kutch, kind of make the PNC Park a sea of orange in a way with these t-shirts, and also help causes around this area.
This is Travis Nace, an Indiana County teen who's organizing a tribute for former Pittsburgh Pirates center fielder Andrew McCutcheon. The Pirates All-Star was traded to the San Francisco Giants this past offseason, which caused an uproar within the Pittsburgh community. Nace has a simple answer for how he felt when he heard about the news that McCutcheon was traded.
Anger. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, he helped out your team for how long? He got them to the playoffs after a 20-year drought.
Although the Pirates are playing without his favorite player, Nace thinks the team isn't doing too bad.
Well, they are doing fairly well, and as a Pirate fan, I'm really happy about that.
The big question for the Pirates and McCutcheon fan was if he was rooting for the Pirates or the Giants on May 11th.
I think first off, I'd be rooting for the Pirates, but I'd also be okay with the Giants winning just because Kutch is on there. He gets the win.
Anyone who wants to make a donation to Orange Out for 22 to support Pittsburgh Children's Hospital and the Indiana Regional Medical Center's Teddy Bear Fund can find their website orangeoutfor22.com or search for the fundraiser on Facebook or Twitter.
The San Francisco Giants are currently 4-4 on this season as of yesterday. Yesterday they lost to the Los Angeles Dodgers 2-1.
We had a beautiful weekend with temperatures sticking around 40 degrees, but the sun kicking in and melting away some snow. But today's snow comes back to Moon Township. At least let's take a live look outside with RMU-Live Chief Weather Forecaster Reagan Check. Reagan, how's it looking out there? For the best coverage in Robert Morris and around the Pittsburgh area, be sure to check out RMUcenturymedia.com. Coming up, there was a chemical attack in Syria and President Trump is angry.
And lawmakers in South Carolina are debating if they should secede from the U.S. because of new possible gun laws. We'll be right back.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then, another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Hi, Smokey. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Announced his anger against Syria after he claims was a chemical attack that choked dozens of Syrians to death. The president promised, quote, a big price, unquote, for actions. The White House has not ruled out a military strike to retaliate against the government.
Debate from 190 years ago about South Carolina seceding from the Union has come up again amid a national debate over firearms and gun rights. State House Republicans on Thursday quietly introduced a bill that would allow lawmakers to debate seceding from the U.S. if the federal government confiscates legally purchased firearms in this state.
A congressman from South Carolina pulled his loaded pistol out and placed it in front of him during a meeting in order to make a point last Friday. According to the group Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America, South Carolina's lawmaker Ralph Norman pulled out the loaded weapon and placed it on the table in front of him for several minutes and stated, quote, I'm not going to be a Gabby Giffords, unquote. Gabby Giffords was an Arizona congresswoman who was shot in 2011.
A federal immigration raid that took 97 people into custody at a Tennessee meat processing plant may be the biggest employment crackdown under President Donald Trump's administration, civil rights activists said Friday. 11 people were arrested on criminal charges and 86 were detained for being in the country illegally. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement spokesman Tammy Spicer said in a statement Friday, the raid on Southeastern Provision is the largest worksite immigration enforcement action since President Bush's administration. The apartment destroyed by a raging fire in New York's Trump Tower that killed a resident and injured 6 firefighters had no sprinkler system, authorities said. Firefighters remained at the scene Sunday, cleaning up after the blaze and trying to determine its cause. The fire broke out shortly after 5 p.m. Saturday in the 58-story building.
Facebook CEO is heading to Capitol Hill this week. Lawmakers are demanding answers from Mark Zuckerberg after a data firm with ties to the Trump campaign mishandled data from millions of Facebook users. David Daniel has details in the latest reaction from Washington, D.C.
Facebook testifies in Congress regularly on a number of topics, some high profile and some not.
Mark Zuckerberg will go under oath, testifying before Congress amid the fallout from the Cambridge Analytica scandal. On Sunday, one lawmaker outlined what he wants answered.
But we do have two major problems we've discovered. One is the privacy issue, and the other is the propagandist issue. Now, Facebook needs to talk with us, frankly, about how we can fix that.
Zuckerberg will answer questions about the privacy issues this week. He'll appear before the Senate, Judiciary, and Commerce Committees on Tuesday. The House Energy and Commerce Committee will hear from him on Wednesday. Facebook admits that personal data was harvested by Cambridge Analytica, a data firm with ties to the Trump campaign. But Christopher Wiley, the firm's former director of research turned whistleblower, can't say how the data was used.
In terms of did Donald Trump use this data, I think that's a good question to ask Cambridge Analytica and the Trump campaign.
Facebook says Cambridge Analytica accessed the data of 87 million users, but Wiley warns that number could rise.
Do you think that's still possible, that number is much higher?
I think that it could be higher. Absolutely.
Zuckerberg says Facebook is taking steps to protect user data. Congress wants answers on how this happened in the first place and how it will be prevented in the future. I'm David Daniel reporting.
Thank you, David.
All right, Twitter removed more than 270,000 accounts around the world for promoting terrorism in the second half of 2017, according to the latest transparency report. The number of accounts represents a drop for the second period in a row. Nick Pickles said the overwhelming majority of these accounts were detected by our own technology, with just 0.2% of the accounts we suspended in 2017 being flagged by the police.
Instagram has pulled hashtags on their social media platform that reference to drugs. Facebook, Instagram's parent company, removed hashtags such as Oxycontin, fentanyl, opiates, and more. The picture and video sharing social media platform said in a statement to CBS News last week that, quote, their community guidelines make it clear that buying or selling prescription drugs is certainly not allowed on Instagram, and we have zero tolerance when it comes to content that puts the safety of our community at risk, end quote.
A show that streamed on Facebook has brought together a community in Pensacola, Florida, as they search for thousands of dollars. Laura Hussey has more on the story.
We've been looking all over the town of Bruton trying to find this money.
Devonki Tate has plenty of company on her quest. To hear people talk, it seems like the whole town is looking.
Yes, we need to search high and low.
Every day as it gets higher and higher and higher.
The Dash for Cash scavenger hunt started on a Facebook Live show called Drive Time with DJ and KJ. Co-host David Jennings says they just try to keep people entertained.
We've eaten dog biscuits on the show. We've eaten some poison jelly beans on the show. Did push-ups this morning.
Every time you pull your phone out, you look at something, there's something bad going on. You don't ever see anything good. And so we decided from the beginning we were going to do this. We were going to make this positive.
Ken James came up with the scavenger hunt idea. He's the general manager of Peach Automotive. They started the ball rolling with the $1,000 as prize money. Lots of other businesses and people joined in. Now James says the prize is over $11,000.
You will travel the roads, the woods, and the hills, and hopefully you'll find the $100 bills.
The clues are given in the form of riddles on the Facebook Live show. James says he's seen hundreds of people looking around Bruton this week.
You've got groups of people actually working together that maybe don't even know each other, but they're working together trying to help each other find the cash.
And nobody's found it yet.
We put in a day's work yesterday, about 5-6 hours yesterday walking around. I've lost some weight.
Laura Hussey, Channel 3 News.
As of this morning, nobody has found the $11,000 prize money.
Now, Ryan, this is kind of, a really cool idea, and an app that actually has a similar format to this is called HQ. Is actually kind of, a lot of people in our newsroom are using that app, and it's kind of, just log on and they ask you questions, you just answer questions. You have the potential to win, hundreds of thousands of dollars at times.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'll definitely have to look into, and hopefully the prize money will be picked up soon.
Absolutely. Coming up, South Korea's former president sentenced to 24 years in jail.
And a World War II bomb was found in Germany. We'll be right back.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here at Robert Morris University, we pride ourselves at the experience that our students gain while they're actively learning in the classroom. Some even come back to share that knowledge with new students.
I never dreamed that I'd be back here. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing a lot of what I was trained to do and what I went to school for.
The Colonial Sports Network is a great opportunity for students to learn real job skills in sports programming.
To be able to see what the students want to make of it, because it can be anything that they want.
I love being here, seeing students, seeing myself in the students that work with me, and I'm really blessed to have so much talent to work with. It's really amazing.
To be able to see students become successful after Robert Morris is really cool.
Join the Colonial Sports Network team and expand your future today.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
South Korea's former president, Park Geun-hye, has been sentenced to 24 years in jail after she was found guilty of abuse of power and coercion. Park, who was also fined in billion won, faced a string of corruption charges. The former leader was not in court Friday for the verdict.
North Korea confirmed that they are willing to negotiate with President Trump and the United States regarding the denuclearization of the Korean country. Officials said Sunday that the communications between Trump and Jong-un could happen as early as next month. German police report they stopped a knife attack in Berlin. The attack was plotted to happen during a half marathon in the city. The local paper in Berlin reported that special police forces detained 4 men in connection with the plan to kill participants and spectators with knives.
Bomb disposal experts successfully dismantled an explosive in the German city of Paderborn. The bomb was found in a garden 80 centimeters below the surface. 2 hospitals and several homes for the elderly, a university, and parts of the historic old town were part of the evacuation zone. Emergency shelters were set up, and more than 1,000 volunteers helped organize the evacuation.
Be sure to tune into our other shows, RMU-Live on Mondays at 1 p.m., Fridays at noon, Sports Talk in the Berg, and RMU Tonight on Wednesdays at 5 p.m., and Colonial Sports Center on Thursday at 9:30 p.m., right here on RMU-TV. Coming up, we check in with Reagan Check in our Weather Center.
And we send you to Shuley on Sports with our sports anchor, Mike Shuley, coming up.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Hi, Smokey. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Shuley on Sports. I'm your host, Michael Shuley. The Penguins took on the Ottawa Senators last Friday in their final regular season game, and the Penguins would emerge victorious with a 4-0 victory. Sidney Crosby and Phil Kessel led the charge for the Pens as both of them contributed 2 points on their way to securing the win. The Pens will now move on to the playoffs where they will take on their cross-state rivals, the Philadelphia Flyers, in Game 1 of the best-of-7 series. This game will be Wednesday night at 7. As for the Pirates, their hot start continues as the team's record is now up to 7-2 as the first-place Buccos were able to take 3 out of 4 games against division rivals, the Cincinnati Reds. Some of the highlights of the series include the Pirates' 14-3 victory Friday night and yesterday's 5-0 win as Jameson Taillon was able to throw a complete game one-hit shutout. The Buccos will hope to continue their hot start against division opponents Chicago Cubs. However, this game that was set to start today has been canceled. Now moving on to Robert Morris sports. The women's lacrosse team would split their 2 games this weekend after falling to Wagner on Friday 12-9 and before bouncing back yesterday with a 14-4 demolition of Mount St. Mary's. The men's lacrosse team also had a good weekend as Matt Schmidt's overtime goal was able to push the Colonials past the Hobart Statesmen. As for WWE, last night, of course, was WrestleMania 34, the largest event in World Wrestling Entertainment. And last night's card did not fail to entertain. Highlights include Charlotte Flair becoming the first person to ever defeat Asuka, as the daughter of the WWE legend Ric Flair was able to retain her SmackDown Women's Championship. Other notable matches include the debut of former MMA champion Ronda Rousey and her tag team partner Kurt Angle, who were able to beat the duo of Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Rousey stole the spotlight as she was able to submit McMahon with her patented armbar. Finally, one of the biggest highlights of the night came as Braun Strowman finally revealed his tag team partner before his match against Raw Tag Team Champions The Bar. His partner, you ask? It was a young boy named Nicholas who Strowman was able to find after scouring through the crowd. And yes, of course, the duo of Nicholas and Strowman were able to emerge victorious after Strowman single-handedly dismantled The Bar. Now we're going to send it over to Reagan Check for a look in at the weather. Take it away, Reagan.
Thank you, Mike. Looking at today, the high is 39 and it is snowing outside right now, but it isn't laying on the ground. So that is the highlight of today. Looking at tomorrow, it is getting better. The high is 45 degrees and the chance of rain is only 50%. Looking at tomorrow, the 5-day forecast. We're looking at much better weather. Even on Sunday is our only day that we're going to be getting rain. And Friday, we're going to have a high of 75, and even Saturday, a high of 74. So I definitely think we're looking at more spring weather, and that it's time. So I'm going to send it back to the desk with Gage and Ryan.
Ryan, 75 degrees, 7.5, not 0.5, 7.5. That's what I'm excited about. But unfortunately, thank you, Reagan. Thank you, Mike. That's all the time we have today for RMU Live.
We will see you next week.